ankles. Blinking one eye shut, then the other, so the feet flashed in movement. This was such a big museum. She looked up, following the nylon into the thick of dull woolen skirts. If you told her that in 15 years she herself would be standing as tall as a docent, no, taller, in the same museum, only wearing bike shorts and purple tights, she would have said stop and shut your mouth. Or maybe not. She had always liked colors. Vagina. She had just learned that word. She had one. Did the old lady docent have one too? She couldn't see. If she, the docent, had one, it was hidden in skirts and wool and nylon. The docent was talking about something, though, about the man she was standing next to, the man they were all gathered around. Solid, black leather shoes with meticulous laces. They weren't real leather. Black. Or was it navy trousers? Ha. Trousers. Corey had just learned that old-fashioned word, and correctly assumed its usage was justified here. When they arrived at the museum that morning, marching the ants off of a school bus, they gathered in a herd of black coats around the reflecting pool that graced the museum's entrance. Long, rectangular, it reminded Corey of yes, that was it, an infinity pool, like the one she had seen on vacation with her family. She hadn't been allowed in. She touched the steely surface of the pool and watched the water ripple out. You're not supposed to be doing that. Corey looked up slowly to see a boy, her age, but smaller, standing in front of her. As he unwrapped a blue gumball from his cellophane, I can touch the water if I want, was her reply. No, it's a museum. We can't touch anything here. Would you touch the drinking fountain? She asked. The boy smirked. Public facilities don't count. Corey looked around. Which school are you from? Rookwood Elementary, the boy said. He crinkled the cellophane wrapper into his coat pocket and thumbed the gumball in his hand. Warming it up, he said. I bet you're not supposed to chew gum inside, she said. Hands folded, modeled like the docents. The guards' palms were grasping each other in alert relaxation. As a ballerina in first position, they were centered directly below two silver buttons, directly below a vertical tie knotted square. Corey hadn't watched the docent's face, but she watched the guard's now. His old man's mouth downturned, not frown-like, but as though he suffered from an underbite. Horn-rimmed glasses shielded his eyes, and a dapper cap was pulled down over his forehead. His badge was shining over his heart. He wasn't real. As the docents gestured, he stood still, hands still resting, frown still turned down. He wasn't real. Yeah, well, who's going to stop me? The teachers, she said. Nah, my teachers won't see. They're too busy counting us to make sure we're not lost. Then the museum guards. What, the old men? If they're not blind, then I'm Michael Jordan, the boy said. Annoyed, Corey turned to put a finger into the water again. The boy grabbed for her shirt sleeve, smacking his lips as his teeth cracked down on the gumball's surface. What school are you with, he asked. Westwood View, she said. Well, if we break for lunch at the same time, want to sit with me? I got a fruit roll-up I'll share. Corey looked up at the boy, removing her hand from the water, only to brush a lock of dark hair from her eyes. He was still smirking, jaw crunching, saliva working. No. He wasn't real. Still, Corey wanted to touch him just to make sure. She reached a small, pale hand out, expecting it to sink into the polyester of pants. He wasn't real. A hard knock interrupted her motion and echoed within her skull. She put the hand to her head and felt a small knot forming as a technicolor gumball bounced onto the floor next to her. She looked up, pained. It was the little boy standing over her, cruel grimace of glee marking his face.
is Jake Sheltnick.
Hi. I brought a boar jaw that I found in the Kansas River in September. And if you can see it, it's not a full jaw. It would come to about here and curl up on both sides. But it's been cut with some kind of unknown tool to me. I was kind of curious of why somebody would cut a boar jaw like that. And so I did some extensive research called Google. I discovered that some local indigenous tribes at certain periods of time, that probably no longer do this anymore, would cut the rest of the jaw off on both sides and then use each extension and would curl. You can see it's hollow here and here, and they would fashion a wood handle. It would stick into the end of the jaw, and then the part that would curl up here, they would then sharpen that and use it as a, I'm sure it's not called a tomahawk, but something like that. Some kind of pickaxe or hatchet of some sort. And I don't really know how old this is, and I've been looking at it a lot, trying to figure out what they would have used at that time period to cut it. But the only really tool marks you can see are in this one tooth here. It has some saw lines, but I really don't know what they would have used. And I should maybe do some more extensive research besides Google to figure that out. But I don't know, I thought it was an interesting thing. And in September was the first time I really went out to the bone exploring. I've never really done that before. But I found quite a bit of different things like buffalo vertebrae and a lot of rib bones and different things. And I kind of keep my eye out for it now when I'm at like rivers and mountains and stuff like that when I'm bone exploring. It's a new hobby of mine. But yeah, so if you know anything about I don't know, how to gauge the age of bones and things like that, or anything like that, or who would have.
A lot of times have people on staff who do that.
Yeah, sure. I like things that are like, I can push buttons. But maybe, I'm not extremely, like, it's not my goal in life to figure out exactly who the hell made this, but I thought it was kind of interesting, so that's my show.
Our next show and teller is Andrew Lyles. You can do it.
I didn't know we were actually supposed to bring like an object, so I don't know what object I really have to like show and tell us about the show next Friday.
Good plug.
But 6 other amazing artists are. You all should go to it.
Wait, tell us more.
Where's that?
It's right next door. It's It's right next door. You have to walk through Volker Bicycles, and then it's actually, there's a gallery in there. Like Dave and Mateus have been helping me out a lot, and Paul Smith. And the people that are in it are Matt Jacobs, David Rhodes, Russell Shoemaker, Amanda Elias Bowles, Christina Fossler, and Paul Anthony Smith.
What kind of artwork do they do?
Matt Jacobs is, he graduated from sculpture, Dave painting, Russell painting, Christina painting, Paul ceramics, and Amanda painting.
So is this on First Friday?
This will be on First Friday. It'll be from 6 to 10, and will be running until the 26th, if I recall.
What's
And
the show about?
The show's about 6 amazing artists.
Our next performer is Craig, is it Mossmore? Mossman.
Bad
I'm sorry. I have bad reading.
Oh, okay. I left it over there.
Okay.
So I got at it. Sorry, everyone.
Okay. We'll clap when we see you.
We'll clap. We'll clap when you come back.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna have to, could you please move your feet just because I have a big piece of paper that I want to do a tribute to my dog who just re-euthanized Monday. And I don't know if any of you have had a pet that you were really close to. He was more than a pet. And I don't want to come up here and we got his ashes today. I don't want to bring those because he wants to see some guy crying about his dead dog. So, thank you. Is the singing bowl person still here?
Yeah,
Did you play the singing bowl that I brought?
yeah.
This is sort of a catharsis for me, and hopefully entertaining for you, but maybe it'll weird you out.
What type of entertainment?
Yeah, it came with a pillow, I was surprised. So, I'm interested in Zen calligraphy, but I'm not very good at it. So, this is sort of a meditative process for me. I'm probably not going to be holding the brush right. It's just to kind of get my catharsis on. This is the brush that I got from
Oh,
eBay.
wow.
It's from China. It's a little ceramic thing I made a long time ago. It's got a little skull at the bottom. Anyway, it's had a lot of mixed emotions this past euthanized Monday, and I'd say he was sort of like my